You did hand it to me. You still paid for it yourself.
Let me know when the insisting started.
Mm, it
And
was
you
definitely
make up
there.
stuff in your own head.
I don't recall. I was in not a good state of mind that entire trip, so maybe that's why I don't recall exactly when it happened, but it definitely occurred.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Two Beers Deep. We are live here on Riverside, live on YouTube, live on Facebook, and you can find us on Spotify moving forward because why
Holy
not?
shit.
Well,
People can
and
hear
we just
us
got
through
banned.
their earphones. Why
I'm eating.
not?
I'm eating some hot pocket or some pizza rolls. They were
Yeah.
for
Oh,
us, but we ate so much
to,
pizza we didn't even get to do them.
we did. Holy crap, that's true. You got gluten-free stuff too, expecting Kat to have some, and she never even bothered to have
Oh,
any.
we still will. It the gluten free stuff. I got her a pizza, which she'll definitely eat, and then I got
Mm-hmm.
her. I'm assuming she's watching, but I got a bunch of dinosaur chicky nuggies that are gluten
Oh,
free.
I remember that. We didn't even get through that. And I'm just going to point out as well, the amount of leftovers you have in your fridge after
Too many.
Sunday was too many. Yes,
I
to
made it
say
through
the
the
least.
pizza,
Well, that's good.
which needed to happen. I haven't touched hers, and then I made it through my tacos.
Nice,
I was
nice.
happy
I think
about.
I have my enchiladas. I think are in there too.
Yes, they are chocolate
Mm-hmm.
enchiladas, which I might just freeze.
Mole, mole, mole.
I don't know if chocolate enchiladas. It's gotta be
It's
weird.
not actually chocolate. It's like an actual like pepper sauce that they make. It's just they throw like a piece of chocolate in it to give it the color. It doesn't actually taste chocolatey.
But it is a chocolate sauce.
Yes, it is.
So
By definition, it's a sauce with chocolate in it. Sure, if you want, I'm getting technical on it because it's not actually chocolate sauce.
that would mean that you think chocolate sauce is like a thing.
Chocolate sauce is a thing.
What is chocolate
Hershey's
sauce?
chocolate syrup is chocolate sauce too.
Okay, okay. So,
Oh man, I hope Pandora's box on this
well,
one.
you just outed yourself because it
Why did
can't
I
be
out
chocolate
myself?
syrup and chocolate sauce. A syrup is not a
I think
sauce.
it's the same. I think it's the same thing. Like unless it's like hot fudge sauce or something that you would get from like a glass jar that you would like use with a spoon or something to
Yeah.
get out. That you can consider chocolate sauce, I guess.
Well, you can consider anything anything.
You're just gonna consider mole as chocolate sauce. I like it.
It is. What
It's
is
not though. It's its
mole
own thing.
sauce?
it's like the, it's like the
A rich,
the.
complex Mexican sauce, often used as a base for dishes like enchilada and braised meats. It's known for unique flavors, which include chili, spices, nuts, seeds, chocolate, and even fruits.
So you could say it's a fruit sauce. You could say it's a spicy sauce. You could say it's all of these things, but it's not a chocolate sauce. It's its own thing.
Hi, this is Josh's mother-in-law.
Hmm.
I don't know if I don't believe that. Hello,
I
Kimberly Jemwaki. Howie? Jemhowie?
Jump Howie.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Uh, glad you're here. Excuse the burp.
I get.
Yeah, Two Beers Deep.
Last Josh.
We are, wow, I just pulled up the YouTube to see what was going on there, and watched the show a few times. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. We are
Appreciate it.
a ongoing live show that struggles to be a podcast, and Greg is Greg.
Greg is Greg. We struggle to be many things, but one thing we don't struggle to be is us.
Not at all. Kimberly, we're happy you're here. Let's crack some beers like we always do and start the show off. We got sports to talk about. I got a couple other things I want to bounce off Greg. We have a good little 2 hour show.
I like it. I like it.
3, 2, 1, action.
First beer I've had since Sunday, so it's gonna be nice.
Me too, I would say. Do
I'm
you normally
surprised
have
you didn't give
beers
yourself.
Monday through?
I'm surprised you didn't give yourself a nice like week break after the weekend. Actually,
What do you mean?
well, because I'm pretty sure multiple times that I've come down to visit, you have always said to yourself, "I am done drinking forever," blaming me for this, by the way. But I'm grateful that that this has not deterred you in any way.
Well, I would say we didn't do anything that we normally do. And so
That's true.
what we did could be considered stopping drinking for me.
We could essentially say that we have matured ourselves to being able to how to handle ourselves in that environment. And I'm quite
Not
proud of
Josh.
that as
Last
well.
time I was with Josh, he couldn't handle himself.
No, no. Josh can never handle himself. Josh gets very excited. Josh overdoes it, and then he pays the repercussions for it.
Always, always, always. Greg, why don't you
Always.
let the people know what you did this weekend?
This past weekend, I was in ye old Nashville, Tennessee, to visit you for our annual excursion to watch the NFL draft together. We have not missed a draft in a while. Last one we missed was 2017, I think, and that was only because you were out of town. So like that.
Yeah, I was in
doesn't even
Seattle
count.
for that one.
You were in Seattle. I got Moorhead, so it's like an adjacent version of the family on
Yeah.
that side, I guess. So it counts. I have watched the NFL draft for multiple years in a row with some member of your family in some sort of way.
Yeah, you had
So
Moorhead that year with Ping.
I did it.
No, Ping was with me. You had Moorhead, you had Dre, and I think you had Josh, right?
Yes. Yes. I did not have LSAS. I had it was me, Moorhead, Dre came later, and then McAfee stopped by a little
Mac
later.
was a part of it.
Yeah. Mac was a part of it, yeah. So
Hell yeah.
so I got something from it. So it was nice, yeah. But yeah, I visited Nashville this past weekend, spent a lovely
Yeah.
what was it? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Fuck, I spent
Yeah.
5 days with you. God damn. That was a long weekend.
It was, and
Very
it was good to fly out Sunday when you did. I feel like that was the proper plan that you had there.
Yeah, I lucked out. Monday sucked. I only got like 5 hours of sleep, but it was worth it. I will do it again in a heartbeat. So I had a lovely time visiting you guys. Lovely time seeing everyone I saw and stuff. And I'm not gonna take credit for this, but I'm gonna say that my presence is the reason that you were able to get a brand new place to live in a couple of months. So I'm just saying, good things happen when I'm around.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm throwing that out there.
we got a new apartment there over in East, which we found out today. So for anybody that hasn't been to Nashville, Nashville's very neighborhood forward, which I love. Also, I guess sorry, Greg, I'm drinking the Teal double hop that we picked up,
Oh, nice, nice.
and
Okay.
I see you're drinking some good old Bud.
I am actually some icy lights. It's still the pit.
Oh, I
insignias
see, like
on
the
it.
pit ones, yeah.
So I still got plenty of them left over. So
Good.
because on my sabbatical from drinking for a bit.
Nashville is a very neighborhood centric city. It's awesome, love it. The area that we're moving to is really cool. It's kind of where we've always taken Greg to go out, or any of our friends or anything. It's where we kind of go out. It's where we get groceries. To me, it's very exciting. But we got a little yard for the boys. No one's shown the dogs it yet, so let's hope they like it. I think they will.
I think they will. I mean, like I'm assuming that when they get green space, they go crazy and have fun, right?
Oh
They
yeah,
have to.
they've only played at like her dog park. Rivers never been over to mine, which is good. He's played in their backyard, like a lot going on. It'll be good for both of them.
Yeah. River and River and Bean are going to be living together as essentially dog roommates now.
Yep.
How do you think that dynamic is going to be, knowing that like they have to share a space together instead of like having their own separate homes and stuff?
Fine. They basically live together now. I go over to Cats 2 or 3 times a week, plus the weekends. The good kind of thing about the two of them is they're both very good friends at this point, which is good. So they no concerns. Like Bean will get a little bitey if he wants to play, which is fine. But River's a goofball.
He does. River strikes me as like when I see him and I look at that face, it's just kind of like he wants attention, but he's also like, what next?
Yeah,
What
no.
next?
River,
He gets
and the
very
funniest
wide-eyed.
thing about that, River, so he was with her parents for so long that we were talking about this last night, he kind of lost his personality a little bit. Not in like a bad way or weird way, but like Kat's his mom. And so Kat always had him. And when he's there, he was fine. He was able to run around. But I don't know. Being able to go to a dog park, live in an apartment, he's doing much better than anyone anticipated. And his personality shines through. And I think Bean has helped him a ton. And vice versa. Bean is always like, when he sees a dog, he wants to play with that dog instantly. So having River there all the time has been huge for him.
Yeah, and I did want to point this out here too. Bean seemed a lot more energetic than the last couple of times I've seen him. Weirdly enough, I don't know if that's because he spends time with River or something like that. But that was probably like but it's like the most energy I've seen from him, like
Yeah.
for the amount of time that I've been around him. So that's awesome to see. And actually, like having the house now, for the fact that they're going to be able to move up and down floors and be able to go outside whenever they want to and stuff, that's going to be huge for them because dogs need space. They need room to maneuver around and stuff. Dogs are like me, where like I need space.
Yeah. Space is always
need
going
my
to be your
space.
friend.
Exactly.
Yeah. So other interesting news: power's been out in Pittsburgh for. I mean, my parents still don't have power.
I was gonna ask. Chip and Marsha
We're
are still
losing
in the dark.
viewers.
Oh shit! Yeah, I was gonna ask. Chip and Marsha are still in the dark right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, got it. So can't blame
Boy,
Duquesne
no!
Light for. I can't blame Duquesne Light for them because I don't believe Duquesne Light stretches that far out for them. And I did want to point out here, man, Duquesne Light is getting put through the ringer here in Pittsburgh. It is.
Yeah, as they should.
It is bad, dude. Like there was I think I saw the numbers on Tuesday night. So I lost my power Tuesday at 5:30. I was actually showering when I lost my power, so that was a fun experience. And then I checked the site, and there was about 220,000 people without power.
Jeez, dude.
But here's the wild thing.
That's crazy.
But here's the wild thing too, and I don't think I mentioned this to you. My parents did not lose power.
Ever.
No, the city did not lose power. It was everything around the city in Allegheny County that got fucked.
Yeah.
Which is insane. Like I didn't have power at all from train of thought. So like
my mom says and I'm so sorry, I got to get this out. I'm using my precious phone battery to watch you. So I didn't mean to cut you off. Marsha she could need to call the cops because of bear attacks, and she's choosing to watch the show over.
Well, it's not like
Shout out, Marsha.
It's not like Chip's probably got enough battery in his phone to be able to help out if that's the case.
Chip's been going out to sit in his car to charge his phone.
Has he really?
Yeah, there's nowhere else. They don't have a Jenny.
That's fair. I'll give you that. But so I lost my power at around 5:30. I didn't have it all night and stuff. So I went to sleep around like 9:30 because I legit had nothing to do. So I turned my light on, had it on the on position. Cause I'm thinking, okay, if I get it overnight, at least it'll wake me up in the morning.
Yeah.
And then the next thing I know, it's 6 a.m. My alarm's going off, and I'm like, fuck, I don't have power. So my original plan was to go to work and stuff. I got my shit, was ready to go.
Great plan, by the way. Proud of you.
And then I get in my car, and the light bulb goes off in my head where I click the switch to open my garage door.
Can't get out.
Can't get out. I am trapped in my house essentially. So that was the beginning of my day. And then I luckily texted some friends around me and stuff. I texted Ricketts in West Mifflin to see if he had power. He didn't. And he didn't get it back until same time as me. But I texted my friends Grant and Ariana and Baldwin, and I asked them if they had power, and they got theirs back around 3 a.m. that night. Which I don't know how that happened, but I didn't even ask.
It does feel random.
It was very random, and they just asked me, like out of the blue, do you want to work here for the day? And I'm like, sure. I appreciate it. So I spent my day yesterday working in my friend's basement.
What would have happened if you weren't able to work?
I probably would have just had to take. Yeah, I would have just, because I already told my boss, like, hey, I don't have power and I don't have a way out of my house, so what do you want me to do? And she said, well, just let me know if you eventually get power back, but if not, you probably just have to use an unscheduled PTO day. And I said, okay, it's not the worst thing, but I really do not want to.
They would make you, and I understand I'm now going at corporate America. I'm not really
yes,
going
you are.
at Craig,
you are. You're going into corporate America.
They would
That's
force you to use a PTO day because all the power went out and you can't leave your house.
Exactly, because I can't work, essentially. And also, I'm one of those people, I don't know if you've noticed this about me, but I'm very much one of those people that, like, when I take off for an extended period of time, I, like, dread the day I come back.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm going to have all these emails I'm going to have to, like, comb through just to catch up on everything, that, like, that day is just hell for me. Because I'm, like, I'm sputtering, trying to figure out, okay, what did I miss? What do I have to get done? Who handled this? Did anyone touch this or anything like that? And my mind's just, like, racing at that time. So, and I already dealt with it on Monday, and I don't want to deal with it again on Thursday. So that's where
already dealt with it.
already did that shit, so I don't want to do it again. So I lucked out. I was working in my friend's basement with him behind me doing both Python coding and playing World of Warcraft at the same time,
Yep.
which is
As
very
coders
impressive.
do.
As coders do. My other friend was upstairs with their 2 twin-year-old boys and a German Shepherd and another dog and a cat just roaming around the entire time and stuff. So I had an eventful Wednesday yesterday, and I'm very, very glad I got power. I got
Cool.
power back at 3:30 yesterday because I got the text from Duquesne Light saying it was.
Yeah. Tons of people back home still no power. So if you see people without power, offer up a battery, I guess. I don't know, Mom. what would
Battery,
help?
offer an outlet, offer something. Yeah.
Well, I know
We
both
got-
my parents' works have been out of power for 2 days as well. And so it's not even like they can get away and go get power.
Yeah, because actually I was trying to remember because like Chip works in the city, doesn't he?
Works in the strip.
Wow, so they don't have power. Crap.
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. So like, because like yeah, my parents did not lose power at all. Like I called my mom that morning and she.
My
was
dad
like,
could beat up your dad.
You know what, Chip's feisty. I don't know.
Neither of them have knees for this fight, but
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. My dad does a lot of walking. His knees are stretched out, so he might get some. So you never know.
stretched out.
He does a lot. He
I don't know
golfs,
if I've
like,
ever
3
heard
days a
somebody
week.
say knees are stretched out.
Well, my dad golfs 3 days a week since he's retired now. So like he at least has some juice to him still.
Gil Senior.
Gil the second. So
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, Gil.
Yeah.
He is Gil. He's not the triple because they changed something, right?
no. So my grandfather was Gil the first. My dad
Oh.
is Gil the second, and my brother is Gil the third.
Okay, so he is
Right.
the third. Okay.
Yeah, he's the third. They never. My dad never got the junior thing. It was just the
Ooh,
second.
here's a question. I don't know the answer to this.
Go
If
ahead.
you accidentally have sex and produce a child, are you eligible to make a Gil the fourth? Let's talk about it.
That's a great question, actually.
Because
I don't know.
My mom also said Figanash lost power and Spring Hill lost power. So Nico is out there roaming the world as if it's a zombie apocalypse, is my guess.
Somehow I
um,
feel like Nico would thrive in that. That's just my guess, but
He's been waiting for that moment.
I feel
for
he
years.
strikes me as someone that has prepared for this for a long time. So
Yeah.
I think he's all right.
They say 100 men first the gorilla. Help the gorilla if Nico's there. If you have a son
Yes.
and Gil, let's say Gil has a gaggle of daughters,
Okay.
are you able to call your son Gil the fourth?
I don't see why not. It's just a name, you know. Like
Yeah, but you have to have a first and a second to have a third.
true, and they have
And-
existed. It's just not in
Yeah.
that order, you know. Like I feel
But
like
you can't call your kid Donald Trump the third because there's a Donald Trump and a Donald Trump Jr. Like, I'm talking strictly. You got a family.
right.
Yeah.
I have a feeling I could do it. Maybe I would need blessing from my brother to do it.
True. That
But
might be the key.
I might need blessing, but
Yeah.
technically you can name anyone anything if you think about
But
it.
you're
put your mind to
you're
it.
you're putting a loophole into a fun conversation that doesn't need one.
But it's a fun loophole though.
I
have
don't
to,
agree.
like,
I don't agree because
think
you're
it's a fun
saying
loophole.
I could call him Lysol, so it doesn't matter. No, I'm saying
Lysol is a
in
badass
the
name, actually.
lineage.
Okay.
Can you do
Based-
that? Not like
based
can
on
you,
the-
anybody can do any. No, like in the lineage, Greg. Jesus.
Okay. I
You
feel like
you
based on-
in the history of this podcast, trying to break out of just being about sports, you
Yes.
have always been an advocate, and I'm just going to say it. Recently, you haven't been as fun.
what?
That was not a fun answer. Putting a point out there that anything can happen at all times, everywhere, always. It's
Oh my
like
God.
you're the slate of Marvel that was proven wrong, Greg.
This
you
is
are
like you
Marvel with Jonathan Majors because guess what? There's infinite timelines, so
Holy
anything's
shit.
possible. So don't worry if your character died. We'll bring Loki back. Don't you worry because anything's possible. That's
This
how
is like
you're
you-
treating this conversation, and it doesn't make me feel excited or happy.
This is like you calling me out in the group chat saying that I don't pick sides either. I feel
You don't.
attacked. I feel attacked.
You liked it
unnecessarily
and
for
said,
this.
"Yup."
I did because
Okay.
it's true. I don't. I'm admitting fault here. I'm allowed
But
to admit fault.
you
God
see
damn it.
how it's not fun to go. anything's possible. So yeah, I can name when it's
What's
it's
wrong?
like
What's wrong with going Kevin Garnett in life? I'm allowed to do it if
because
I want to.
it ruins the purpose of the discussion.
I still think it holds true. I can technically name him, but I feel like my brother would kick my ass if I did it without his permission, more than likely.
Agreed. But what I'm
Yes.
asking is in the lineage conversation, does
Okay.
Gil own the right for Gil the Fourth? In like let's pretend this is Game of Thrones shit.
That's
and
where, okay. That's where
There.
I feel like you were going with this. Like,
That's
so,
the
like for
conversation.
instance, like,
Not anybody can do anything all the time
well,
ever.
okay.
you
So,
goof.
like in Game of Thrones instance, like,
Yeah.
where does this lie then? Like, does
Technically in Game of Thrones, my assumption would be I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Mom, if your phone didn't die, let me know. I don't remember there being juniors in Game of Thrones. What I would say is the closest to it is Nordic, which is instead of going junior, you would call Thor Odin's son, meaning you are the son of Odin, Thor. Now, I know Game of Thrones is not that, and it's fake, but that's kind of where I'm at with it. But Gil owns the right to Gil the Fourth. Yes or no?
based on common sense, I would say yes.
Okay.
I would imagine that he would. But again, I think family blood in this instance does have a right to be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
you're not using this. Why
Yes.
not send it over here
So,
and,
and
let someone
let's-
else in the family enjoy it?" Yeah.
Let's say it's a situation where I'll change the name for this portion of it. Theodore the Third is
Okay.
unable to bear children.
Okay.
And his younger brother, Tyler, has a child and says, hey, I'm making, with my body and someone else's body, a Theodore the Fourth. I could see that. And that's like that to me feels like a good story that would show up on Good Morning America.
Yeah. It's like it's
Stealing
like,
it would be fun, though.
You know what it is? It's like the episode of Futurama where Fry finds out that his name was used like after he passed away, and he thought it was his brother who stole his name and became famous with it, but it turns out his brother just named his son after his brother.
So I've never seen every episode. So that the guy that got famous was Fry's nephew.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a great episode, but like
Futurama's
Fry
amazing.
finds out
Just need to watch
Fry finds out that there was a Philip J. Fry that was like very well known and stuff, like kind of in the, I guess, like mid 2000s, I guess, after he died, and he assumed his brother stole his identity, but it turns out his brother Yancey had a kid and named him Philip J. Fry in honor of his uncle, who he never saw. And at the end
Yeah.
of the episode, there's like a tombstone for him that says in honor of his uncle. But the thing is, there's no junior on it, so I'm not sure if he technically had the right to call him Junior or the second, but he could still call him like Philip J. Fry after his.
Yeah, and that makes sense because it's deceased. My mom. So I'm going to say what she said and then bring up the funny portion of it. According to Google, the third is the son of the second, and the fourth is the son of the third.
Okay.
Phones have ruined the bargument. There is no
This is a
such
How I Met
thing
Your-
as a
this is a
good
How I Met Your
argument.
Mother episode.
And
This
it
is a How I
is,
Met Your
and
Mother
it's
episode.
true. Mom, I love you. That is exactly true. But according to Greg, Mom, you are wrong because anybody
Yes.
can do anything they want all the time.
Anyone can do anything if you put your mind to it, damn it. And that's my stance that I'm putting on that one. And by the way, speaking of that bargain, I call bullshit that bread is the most popular food in America. That's some bullcrap.
Do you not consider bread a food, or what do you mean?
I mean, I do, but like, if you were to tell me that you were gonna have either a slice of pizza or a piece of bread, like, you're gonna go for a slice of bread over the
So
pizza?
I don't want to break your heart.
You're considering pizza bread because bread's on it?
It's gotta
No,
be,
come on.
dude. Dough
That's
is
such
bread.
bullshit.
Dough
That
is
such
bread.
bullshit.
Dough is bread.
No, come on. We're not getting to this conversation saying that bread's the most popular food just because it's part of so many things. Bread's its own entity.
So you believe that they are saying it's a slice of bread?
I think based on what they're saying, it is. Yes.
You're saying that comparative to How I Met Your Mother directly?
Yes.
Okay.
Because in the episode, they're on their phones, and then they bring up the argument.
Yeah.
And the argument was just nullified because they said, "Oh, the most popular food in America is bread."
Okay. Mom, also, because there is still a little bit of echo, I'm messing with Greg's stuff. So if for some reason you can't hear Greg, it's because I'm testing something. All right. Well, whatever. I tested it. Didn't work. Well, I mean, it is bread. Banana
It's only
bread.
part of it. But it's only part
Bagels.
of it.
Toast. I don't know.
Where do we draw the line here, man? Like, come on. Like, if
What?
we're putting this out, like, where are we drawing the
Bagels
line?
are bread.
I understand, but like, is everything that has bread part of it? So, like, are sandwiches the most popular food in America then? Because it's
I mean,
okay.
there's an easy argument here for you to make that I don't think you're going to come to on your own, and I'm ready to help when you need help. You as a friend, I hear him and the echo. I know, Mom.
Yeah, I'm the worst. I'm sorry. I'm lost here. Where is the argument that I am missing here by saying that bread should not be the most popular food in America just because it is part of everything?
No, eggs.
Eggs are in everything. That's fair. Okay. So eggs
Sugar.
Sugar is in everything.
You know what I mean? Like, that's probably where I'd go with the argument is like salt. See, you're not good enough at like countering this shit. You got to get better at thinking. Here's what I'll say, Greg. Life is like a little sandbox. And once you build your little sandbox, once you build your sandbox of where you can play, then all of the toys in that sandbox are fair game.
I do like having my own toys. That's fair. I don't like sharing. I like that. That's a great analogy, sir.
It's a good one, and I use the sandbox at work all the time because I say that creativity is a sandbox. That when I'm given the guardrails, like I know what I'm doing, I know why I'm doing it, I know what time I'm doing it. The best type of work comes out from there, and so I use that one all the time.
This is going back to the same conversation where we've had before, where you say everything that anything and anyone does is creative, and it drives me fucking bonkers when you
Say
say
that again?
that. When you say the thing about how everything anyone does is technically considered creative, it drives me nuts.
You woke up and had no power and made the creative solution to go to your friends to work. You created a different day.
I did.
You
a
created
different
a
day.
possibility for you to work. Stupid as that was, you got to work.
Spinning around in a different way was not the way I planned this to go, but somehow you did, you motherfucker.
It's not hard.
I know, which is why it drives me nuts.
It's
Because I
easy.
can't. My brain doesn't connect the dots on that. That's why it drives me nuts.
Yeah. Duh.
Or
Or else you would have started Thoughts on the Bench.
that's very true. I would have. Otherwise, we wouldn't have gone this long.
Ooh, let's play this game. What would you have changed if you started and owned Thoughts from the Bench?
What would I have changed?
Yeah. So everyone that's listening that may not know, we started this about 7 or 8 years ago now at this point.
Something like that, yeah.
Around 2018, I'd say 2017, 2018. We've had trillions of failed experimental shows, podcasts with Josh and all the guys. We have done YouTube content, Switch live shows, live events, live everything. We pretty much have tried everything. And so, Greg, what would you change if you ran the company?
We got a hell of a catalog now that I think about it. Holy shit.
Years worth.
Yeah, years worth, actually. Fuck, you're not wrong. I don't want to necessarily say that, like, I would change a lot.
None of it's going to be a bad if you change. Like, don't think of it as like I'm changing what you know what I mean. I'm not taking offense to it.
No. Like, and like, cause yeah, like I feel like changing anything like isn't necessarily like the worst thing, cause like isn't most positive or constructive. Cause like I don't want to say that like it's like a regret or anything. Like I think what we've done is pretty
but
great.
like
Yeah.
let's imagine everything hit the way we always envisioned it to, or something like that. Like what?
Yeah.
Well, and I'm not even saying what would have changed. Would you have put different people on different shows? Would you have, you know what I mean? Would you have tried to do a different. I don't know. Just think out. Should we have gone to red beards instead of fake? I don't know.
No. I think well, for instance, like the original plan for Two Beers Deep or even Thoughts on the Bench, like it wasn't even supposed to be me as the co-host. It was supposed to be like a rotating like individuals and stuff. Because like your pilot actually was you and Mars doing like the talk when you think about it. So essentially, like I think.
Yeah. It
Not
was
to
me
say-
and
not to
Mars
say-
and me and Chance in the basement. And
Yeah.
I
mean,
forgot
like,
about we used to set up in that really shitty basement.
Yeah, but I mean, like it served a purpose. It was a
No,
way to like
it was
test.
great. It was like a memory I forgot about.
Yeah, you tested it out and stuff. You played Madden the entire time too, if I remember correctly.
So there was Two Beers Deep where we like would record, and then there was one where I would interview. One of my favorite things about the early days was interviewing people while you played a video game, because it led to like a lot of moments that were very funny to me of like people being like, "Hold on, I can't talk right now. I'm on this play." I don't know. That was very funny.
You
But yeah.
you get like instant reactions and stuff, and it like kind of
Yeah.
forces people to have to like do multiple things at once. I like that.
Absolutely.
I mean that's a concept that I do think has its legs and stuff. Kind of like I'm trying to remember like some of the other ones that I think like could have hit. Like first of all, like I do think your solo endeavor where it was Deke talks too much. I think you should have kept with. Just saying. I know there was a more recent one, but I do think it had. I think it was.
Oh yeah, nothing ever came of that. Not in like a negative way, but it's still there.
I know, but I wish you would have like kept going with it because I do think that it had merit and it had legs because I think it was a good premise for what you were trying to go with. Trying to think in terms of different shows though. I'm happy with Two Beers Deep. I was happy with Josh's A Great Depression because I thought that had like
Oh,
it was
really?
different. It was different, and I liked it. It was very different. It was kind of like the same thing with like the interview idea. I really loved the radio segment he did where he created that song playlist because some of those were some jams.
That was the best thing out of that. No, and I don't want to say the best thing out of that show in a negative way. To me, that was their like gem of where to go. I'm
Yeah.
here, so you can start the show now. Dennis,
God.
Puerto Rican
Hi, Denny.
Huggies.
Hi,
What's up,
Denny.
buddy? Denny,
Good to see you, sir.
how you doing?
I do wish we would have found a better co-host for Rankings Court aside from me or you, just because I think we needed a different voice with Vo and Moorhead.
I love that take because the show. Here's how I word it: the show between when I was on and when you were on, drastically different,
Right.
and that's not good for the third chair.
Right. No, because me and you are different personalities, but like we play off each other well. But like putting each other in different positions, it's not. I don't think it hits as strong. So I think we would have we needed someone with probably more personality to be able to kind of handle that. Because Austin's a lot, and Vo's kind of like Vo's very like straight shooter type stuff. So like I think we would have needed someone a little more charismatic in that spot. I think Idiot Hour had legs to it. I think Boyd was a good character to have on. I don't know if I would have. I don't know how you guys could have made that better though, because like I think the topics were fun and I think they were like off. They were very loose.
It would have been to give Josh no other shows to worry about, because Idiot Hour was his thing. He came buttoned up, produced, and it was always supposed to be me and Boyd reacting in real time and doing no research for this, which this is what I've told everyone from the start. Obviously I've fallen off that practice a little bit, but like nothing from the hip will ever be as good as something that is prepared, because the prepared thing allows organic moments to come through. No podcast where we just get there and we just talk will ever be as good as something so planned out that the organic moments are the highlight. And so that was my only issue with the thought there with Idiot Hour. It's not a bad thing. I think us reacting was great. I think that when you go into a show and you have pre-pro and you know what it is, that allows people to like write and think and be creative. And we had so many people that were so good on the spot that I think it was a little bit of a detriment. Rankings Court infuriated me in the best way possible with those hot takes. That's a good point, Dennis. And then my mom said, Chip said, don't be a hater.
What are we being a hater for Chip on? That's rude.
I think about Vo.
Oh,
That'd be my guess. I don't know.
I've known Vo since I was 18. I'm allowed to bust his balls as much as possible. He's got a kid now anyway, so like he's doing great in life.
You love him.
Unfortunately, do his kid loves me, which is very funny.
Still not met the kid.
Oh yeah, Killian's great. He's
Oh,
like,
I know. I just
you know
never see him when I come home.
you know what's funny too? He is his kid is polar opposite of him.
I believe that.
And what I mean by that is he is very happy, very like
Outgoing.
excited to meet people. Like last time I saw him, like he immediately like when they were gonna leave, he just like ran up to me and hugged my legs because he like comes up to my thighs essentially.
Yeah.
So like he just grabbed himself around me, just looked up at me and smiled, and I'm like, and I looked at Vo and I'm just like, are you sure this is your kid? not in a like negative way, just like in a fun way.
just in a normal way.
And then his Vo's partner was there, and she said to me like, Greg, this is my side of him coming out. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense. So
Good.
but yeah, but no, he's doing good. He's happy, but no, I would say back to the thoughts on the bench thing. I mean, like there's a lot of stuff that I think went well, but I find your take interesting because there's plenty of times I felt like when we did plan stuff out, they almost never kind of came to fruition. Like especially like even when we did like a lot of the pre-planning beforehand and stuff like that, there were so many times that like we never even got to it because we were just like
that's the point is when you know you have things to do, you're allowed to take swings because you can fall back on the pre-planned content. So, for example, you and I come in here and we talk, but we've been doing this now for about 8 years. If people come into a show, so like, I mean, tonight especially, said, you know what, found the mic. We've been talking about wanting to do more, make it an actual podcast. People keep asking me where the podcast is. So this will be the first episode in a long time that we've uploaded the same way I'll upload Chip's podcast, which is through this. I'll cut clips. My mentality now is they're going on my channels. I love Thoughts from the Bench as a whole. It's literally the joy of my life. They're going on my channels. It's content. It's going to get out there. It's fun.
Yeah, but you know what's something that I don't think you've given yourself enough credit for with that regard too? I think that this is going to be better for you that they're going directly on your channels because while Thoughts from the Bench was like the entity you wanted though, people know you and love
That's why we
you
do this on my Facebook page.
Right,
Not because they love me, but because people go, "Oh, Derek did this thing." Not,
Yes,
"Oh, I love
exactly.
this company."
Exactly, because it's literally you. It is your brand. It is your entity.
Yeah.
It's what you started. So therefore, like I think it being attached to your channels are going to be the best thing.
Do you see
because
two of me?
no, you went black for a second, but then you came back.
For some reason.
What? I can't hear you now.
I know, but I am losing my mind. Hold on.
Okay. I was gonna say like I can hear you fine now.
I'm going to show you my window.
Oh, okay.
To see how there's two.
Oh shit. Okay, that's scary. This is some Matrix shit right here. Didn't this happen like?
This has never happened.
Wait, I thought this something like this happened 2 weeks ago when we did the draft with Austin and Josh. Didn't something like that happen? Where where it went like Matrixy for a second?
I don't know what to do.
Huh. Okay. I mean, you sound fine on my end. You look fine on my end. So
Let me go to my Facebook and see. Okay. I mean, it's coming in as if it's normal.
looks fine. Okay.
Then are you seeing me, Mom?
Two of you is plenty.
But I can hear like myself is what's messing me up. Doesn't look like it. Hold on, give me one. Nope. Okay. All right. Just a Derek issue. This is gonna be terrible.
Oh, that sucks.
Well, my concern is so. It's weird. My concern is that it's going to mess up like the podcast thing, but I guess
Yeah, you are.
not.
Remember, bud. You're relaxed. You're chill, Derek, right now. You
Not
don't
right
have.
now.
I know,
I'm
not right now,
freaking
but I'm
out.
like, I know.
I
I'm just
don't.
I'm trying to help you repeat
Nope,
your
just
your
one of you.
mantra
You're
that you were
good.
going
The
with.
echo is minimal. Yeah, but the echo's on. So the other thing is it won't let me share comments on the screen. So there's clearly some. Oh wait. Nope. Okay. Because now I'm. Oh, okay. Danny's just popped up. Sorry for anyone. I'll cut all this out of the podcast portion. There is 2 Deeks.
I don't need 2 deeks in my life. That's too many.
Well,
Way
the
too
issue is
many.
I showed you what I'm seeing, so I don't feel too crazy.
No, you're not crazy.
It's
I
not
see
just
it.
me.
I see it. I know it's present. You're fine.
I'm
just
just
go
gonna. All right.
go
Keep talking
through
about stuff.
go through the motions right now, bud. No, I think what we did from Thoughts on the Bench, I think is hit in its own ways. I think there's small things that we could have changed to maybe go for the better and done better, but I'm not 100% sure. I do think like certain aspects of it like were great. Like the Coors reel that you guys did was awesome, and I think it
Coors
worked
reel?
pretty well. I wish that like maybe sometimes like I didn't take off certain shows just to like stay committed to it. That was kind of like thing I kind of felt bad for a couple times, but like aside from
What do you
that, like if I ever took off to like go to a concert or like I
Oh,
had something
fuck
to do with
that.
like no like
You have a
'cause, like,
life.
yeah, that's true. But like I don't know. There's times where like I kind of like felt bad for doing that because this is something that I was committed to. But that's about it.
You're still here.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, cool. I got
Been fired yet.
something funny. Man, I don't think it behooves me to like restart. I can fight. I can get through this. Just so everyone, the wiffle ball home run derby is a true classic. I agree.
Yes, because
Uh,
I was the winner and I have the trophy over on my bookcase to show it. It was a joy.
Cat says it's just one. You're good.
See, you're fine, dude.
I know, but I can't stress to you. So for some reason, my computer, the headphone jack only works for one side of the headphones. Like I've tried these headphones and other things, it is just that portion of it. So now only in this ear,
Okay.
I am hearing myself twice. So not only do I only hear the conversation in one ear, I'm only hearing it twice in one ear. Okay, I want to show you this. I've been looking forward to this. I'm going to show you this.
Okay.
At work, we have a thing called what do we technically even call it? Now Playing. And so Now Playing is a playlist that our employees get to create. So Greg, I would like you to read out the names of the songs done by Sally, a dog in the office.
This is, I believe you showed me this already, but it's still phenomenal to read. Woof, barking, woof. Oh wow, look at that, tennis ball. Sorry, I'm gonna read down. Yeah. It looks tasty. Squirrel killed the mailman in my dreams last night. Licked peanut butter off the wall. Scratched the door. How to go outside?
Have to.
I'll have to go outside. Damn it.
Was one I shared it to my Instagram story. It's one of my finer moments in life. It comes from this old one my buddy sent me at work, Aaron, shout out Aaron, that said, wait, ding, toast is done. And that was the whole, dude, I was howling off it. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Was it all 3 different weight songs
Oh, yeah.
too, which made it better? That's
Oh, yeah.
impressive. That's impressive.
All 3 different weights.
Just out of curiosity, like, have you listened to the playlist? Like, does it actually like slap
No.
all the way through, or is it just the names?
It makes no sense. I mean, Mac Miller's in there. It's a couple guys I like.
That's true.
No, it makes no sense at all.
Okay. I'm just curious if the playlist in general slaps, or if it's just like the wording of it and stuff.
Just the wording.
Got it. Okay.
Other things here. Yeah, I wouldn't go back to it. I just wanted to break up your soppy sentiment there. I would still have done
Excuse me
way
for being
more.
sentimental.
Say it again.
Excuse me for being sentimental.
Yeah, there you go. I still would have done way more video game streaming. I wouldn't have stopped doing that from in there. I would have still done the trivia show because that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Watching Cody and Chance go up against my parents was something great. So, yeah, so let's dive a little bit into some sports convo. This past week, obviously, was our Christmas, the NFL draft.
Yes.
A lot of surprises, a lot of kind of confusing moments, nothing that was terrible. And we'll start with Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur took a slide that I argue is the biggest I can ever remember, and the most surprising draft moment, more surprising than Michael Penix. I would go as far to say this is as likely as Coach Ditka trading an entire draft for Ricky Williams.
Wow. Okay.
Like this to me was the most, and like once you look back at it, him tanking interviews, his dad, all this stuff. Sure, I get that it happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy though.
Is it like
Yeah.
hindsight being 2020? Like, what was his goal here? Because the thing that like I find it fascinating is like even during like pre-draft interviews that he did with like the media or something like that, he was adamant that doesn't matter what team drafts him, like he'll work hard to like be the quarterback one eventually. Like to me, he was saying all the right things like in the public,
Yeah.
but behind the scenes, like what was he doing that caused teams to drop so far? Because here's the thing too. Like yes, he eventually got drafted by the Browns, but he was the second quarterback taken by the Browns. Like that's damning.
What
right
would
there.
it have taken you to bet on Dylan Gabriel going before Shedeur Sanders? To me, it would have taken a torn ACL with like a Teddy Bridgewater level injury.
I would have, well, if we're going up that far too, I would have at least needed Dylan Gabriel to win the Natty if I was going to say that, because that would have like at least shown some sort of postseason like thing. But Dylan Gabriel, like let's be clear here too, like Dylan Gabriel was like essentially a super senior that I believe also had, I think he had an injury when he was before he got to Oklahoma or something that like wasn't career devastating, but like the dude's been around. Like there was nothing about Dylan Gabriel that made it seem like he was going to be considered like a legit NFL prospect. Like the dude could be a good backup, but that was really about it. I would have never bet on it. Like there would have had to been something catastrophic to even consider like that being the case whatsoever. I think the only person that I know that had Dylan Gabriel high was Tony Dungy. And that was wild to me.
And in his defense, I like Dylan Gabriel for winner gamer. I think he's scrappy. I think he's fun. I don't think a single part of his game would ever suggest to me that he goes ahead of Shedeur, except for the Oregon tape against Colorado a year before, which I don't even think Dylan Gabriel was their quarterback.
I don't think he was either. You're right. Yeah, there was like the only the worst game Dylan Gabriel I remember seeing play was the quarterfinal game in the playoffs this year when Oregon got whooped like badly in that game. So I for the life of me couldn't have figured it out unless there would have had to have been like we would have had to have known something was up with Shedeur if he was gonna like fall that far. But like no one saw it coming. And I do want to point out here too, like we have been adamant like on this show on like everything that like we read or watch or like even like listen to and stuff like that. This was not a good quarterback class like in general. Like the consensus was that like Cam Ward, who went number 1 overall, like if you look at last year's class, like Cam Ward was probably 6th best quarterback coming out. So this isn't like a surprise or anything. Like this was a weak quarterback class, but yet this is always the same case every year. Quarterbacks always get inflated, always, because there's a need for it and stuff. But the fact that a guy that for what it's worth, like as much as like you could read like any scout's take or any like pro comparison about him and stuff like that, Shedeur Sanders still had like certain traits about him that does work in the pro game. He's accurate. He's tough in the pocket. He's able to take hits. He can still read defense as well.
Yeah.
He has a pretty good arm and stuff. Like they're not the they're not like the ideal situations for a quarterback. Like he's not 6'6". He doesn't like he's not built like a brick house. He doesn't have a cannon of an arm, and he's not mobile and stuff. But he can still, I think, can still functionally run an NFL offense. Okay, he just doesn't have that elite trait about him that I guess like
Sure.
teams were looking for and stuff. But even like, but the even when saying that, I still don't understand how he wasn't at least picked on day 2. That's the part that I can't
Yeah,
figure out
that
on
part
that one.
comes back into who he is, who his dad is, how he interviewed, all of that type of stuff. It'll be a
Which did you know Dion was his
conversation for.
agent apparently? Like did you know that?
No, I saw that Shiloh came out and said dad was our agent. We fired him. Does it surprise me? No,
No,
because
not at all.
yeah, I mean the real reason it surprises me because I don't like as much as he can be a slime ball. I'm sure Drew Rosenhaus is not anything more than probably the greatest sports agent we've ever seen.
Oh,
And
for
if
sure.
he's not going to touch Shador now, and I'm
There
not saying that they have conversations, I know nothing about it, but I know he's not his agent,
that's
and
true.
he is the agent for everybody.
He is.
He's
He
the
is.
agent for Abdul.
He is. That's a fair point. And this goes to think like if we're looking at like how the draft actually ended up happening too. He's now the 5th quarterback on the Browns roster right now.
Hmm.
Like
Oh, so
what?
guess who Shiloh hired after Dion was fired?
I'm
Drew
guessing it wasn't
Rosenhaus.
Rosenhaus, but who? Who was it?
Shiloh hired Drew Rosenhaus.
Oh, he did. Oh
That's what I
shit.
just
Okay,
yeah.
I thought you were just like saying like it was someone
No.
else, but like okay.
Shador Sanders does not have a traditional NFL certified agent. His father, Deion Sanders, initially represented him and other members, including his brother Shiloh. Shiloh later hired a new agent, Drew Rosenhaus, and Shiloh hired Rosenhaus Sports. So
Wow. Okay.
Shador don't got an
Okay.
agent.
Shador does not have an agent. Okay, that's
A
another.
traditional is what it says.
Okay, and hear me out too. Nothing wrong with not having a traditional sports agent. Like there's been plenty of guys that I believe have still been able to work out contracts like even without that situation, so I'm not going to hold them against that. But at the same time though, man, like as much as NFL teams probably respect Dion because he's a Hall of Famer and stuff like that, like man, that is just a lot
Yeah.
of that's a circus and a half to be able to have to deal with it. I can understand why teams were probably not willing to deal with something like that. So, is it? So then here's the case then. How much of it is based on the fact that teams just didn't view Shador as like that elite type of quarterback that they want to spend a first round pick on, and how much of it is just not wanting to deal with Dion and the circus that comes with him then?
I mean, it's a pretty even split. Like for me with Shador, everything, and this is what Josh and I talked about for weeks leading up. Um, Josh's whole thing was I don't understand how Shador is not the number one quarterback. I don't get the Cam Ward hype. Shador isn't fast. Shador is not a runner. Shador gets 10-yard sacks that pulls his team out of field goal range. Shador blames his teammates. Shador said it was because he didn't have a running game. Shador, everything you can say about the kid turns out to be some version of a negative. The positives, I like the kid. I like the culture aspect that he brought. I like the fact that he did somewhat change Colorado. I like the fact that he has the most accurate arm in this entire class. I like that he's ambitiously egotistic. I don't think he is wrong in the way he's egotistical. I think he's backed it up in every stage of his life. The issue for that with NFL teams, though, is again, you don't want a microphone and a camera in your backup quarterback's locker. And Shador could be your backup. It's the same reason, in my opinion, nobody brought in Kaepernick, aside from the obvious blackballing. Even teams that decided not to blackball him made the conscious decision that if you bring in a guy like that, it is just going to attract attention that doesn't convert into wins. If Shador was Caleb Williams, if Shador was any of these guys that go, if he was Trevor Lawrence, if he was Deshaun Watson back in the day, even it feels like
Yeah.
you're looking at a situation in which teams would probably try to put up with it. Teams put up with, I mean, shit. Like teams put up
Tyreek
with.
Hill.
Well, Tyreek Hill, they put up with AB for a little while there. You got a
Right.
ton of these people getting arrested, people doing wrong. Teams will
Right.
put up with it if it converts to wins.
Mm-hmm.
If it does not convert to wins, which it appears that most teams looked at Shador and said, he's a good quarterback. He's not going to be Mahomes. He's not going to be these guys. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, and I mean, and like we said, like the traits about him that we like there's validity to him being a good quarterback based on that, but and like I think this goes back to your saying about like the type of quarterbacks that you think there are. There are two types of quarterbacks: the ones that will do everything that they can to win you a game, and the ones that will do everything they can to not lose a game. Shador, the way he plays, strikes me as the guy that will do everything in his power to not lose a game. The
Yeah.
way he plays, he doesn't strike
Interesting.
me as a guy that will like fight for the extra yard. He won't like try to be like a guy to be risky to be able to just make a play happen and stuff. Nothing wrong with him being smart in the pocket. Nothing wrong with him like trying to go through his progressions and stuff. There's a place for that, but there's that element of playmaking ability and that physical nature that every team kind of covets for a franchise quarterback. That you ride with him when he makes it happen, and you take the good with the bad that happens from it, because usually the greatness is probably worth it. And maybe you did, and from his college tape, there wasn't a lot of greatness with it,
Yeah.
And I think, and yes, I can understand the logic of you saying that like he did change Colorado for the better. Like that was
Yeah.
probably the best quarterback they've had since Cordell Stewart, which is saying a lot to in
Right,
and of
it
itself.
is.
But you can also say the same thing about the fact that like they also had the one of the most elite talents we ever saw in our lifetime in Travis Hunter, like as a offense and defensive weapon. They also had Dion, who brought every single transfer you could possibly imagine with them and stuff like that. You could also say that, by the way, they go from the Pac-12 with like the monster schedule they had to the Big 12 that probably, like, while good, wasn't nearly as strong as probably the schedule they had last year. So there's a lot of traits to go with it, and I'm not knocking anyone who necessarily thought it was a surprise that he didn't get drafted earlier. It's just I think we need to really look at, hindsight being 2020, the talent that he was, and just kind of look at it from the perspective of was he really a first round talent? If you look at every single trait that he had, and he wasn't. I'm more surprised that he went day 3 than anything, because I think at bare minimum he should have been a day 2 pick based on talent. That's the part that I find surprising.
I think the counter that I'll give you there is I don't disagree, and I don't think anybody would disagree, but I also think we can sit here and agree that Cam Ward had a great year at Miami.
He did.
There's not a single moment of his tape before Miami that would showcase a number one overall pick. Maybe flashes, but not like this guy is a number one overall pick. This past year, Miami at all.
He fell into a situation where the Titans needed a quarterback.
Yeah.
In the worst way. It was simply that. I mean, I would be curious if Cam Ward wasn't available and it was Jackson Dart and Shador Sanders as the only quarterbacks who the Titans would have taken. That could have been interesting. I imagine, though.
Good.
But again, if you look at how they handled their pre-draft stuff, like Jackson Dart did everything. He did all the interviews. He worked out the combine. He did the Senior Bowl. He did all these things that Shador did, and I think teams are going to reward you for putting your name out there and not making them scrutinize you for everything, but there are so many things that teams need to learn about you if they're going to invest in you. And that's no different than any job interview, essentially. Like, I'm not saying that, like, when you go for an interview, they want to, like, know everything about you and stuff like that, but they need to understand, like, the pieces about you that at least make you click, make you tick. They need to understand if you're going to be a good fit. They need to understand who you are as a person and stuff. And if Shador's not going to play ball that way, why would any organization want to give them the responsibility like that?
Are you looking for an answer?
Yeah, if you want to give it, you don't have to.
If you can win games, they'll give up. They'll. That's it.
Yeah, but I mean, like, here's the other thing too. Like, if you from any times you watch Colorado, like, was he the main reason they won games?
Against shitty teams.
That's a fair point.
Otherwise, it was Trev.
It was shootouts essentially. Like
Well,
every
which we can also agree his college teammate was one of the greatest college full. I mean, Travis Hunter makes the starting 22 all-time college. At corner, he ain't touching wide receiver for me.
Yeah, you ain't touching receiver. Corner though, of all time. Ooh.
Now, all-time 22 is different than all-time player.
That's true, but what I'm thinking of, like all-time 22, like Charles Woodson's on one side, that's for
Yep.
sure. Yeah, I can't think of another corner that won the Heisman aside from Woodson. There probably was like back in the day, but that's about it. So
Which they
yeah.
both. That sucks that they both had to play double to win a Heisman.
I know, right? It's kind of bullshit, but
Yeah.
yeah, I can't. I'm not sure who else. I don't think there is another DB aside from Charles Woodson that won the Heisman. So yeah, based on that logic, I would have to put him with the all 22. You're right.
He is a guy doing stuff that we've never seen. He's a guy being rewarded for that. And so, yeah, that's what we'll say. Let's go through some draft classes here.
Let's do it.
Let me pull this up here. Draft picks by team. All right.
Which I hope Bueno's still in the chat, by the way, because I am going to give him some props to the Cleveland Browns
Is
on this.
absolutely not.
Because I will say I think the Cleveland Browns had a very good draft class. I think they did. They took a risk. They took a risk by trading down to not get Travis Hunter. But you on this podcast and on everything that we've touched on, everything draft related, have been adamant that Mason Graham is a blue chip player.
He is. He is. Here's how it works. Blue chip. My third player in the class, I believe I had him as after Trav and Abdul Carter.
Yeah.
So happy the Browns got him for two reasons. One, I think that he is going to be the Joe Thomas of the defensive side of the ball for them. Two,
That's a great take. I don't hate that.
thank you. Two, we don't have to play against Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. Because DTs, outside of Aaron Donald, don't get sacks.
Yeah. Well, we have to play Jacksonville from time to time, so at least we got to play Hunter then. But this is something I found interesting. I don't know if you saw this, and I can't remember. I can't for the life of me remember if this was like on ESPN or something. I think it was Damian Woody who said it. Do you have any concerns about Travis Hunter in terms of like his physical presence being able to play in the NFL?
Not at all.
That's what I thought. Like Damian Woody, I think was said something like on. I think it was the day after the draft, like on Get Up or something. He said something about how like the thing that concerns him about Travis Hunter is physically how he handles receivers in the NFL, because he was an elite talent in college, but he's kind of he's on the smaller side of things in terms of how in terms of his like body type and how he's going to be able to play in the NFL, which I found so strange because that was something I never heard anyone else say anything about in terms of that. So it's like it's a weird take.
Two things. You haven't heard anybody saying it because he needs something to say on ESPN.
True.
That's what it matters to me. I mean, Travis,
Yeah, I mean-
6'1", 185. Just for reference, Patrick Surtain, 6'2", 200.
Yeah. I mean, like he's not far apart or anything. Like he's not fucking Emmanuel Forbes or shit like that. But
Yep.
But I mean, like, yeah, I was just that was just such a weird stance because I never heard that from anyone else about Travis Hunter saying that like he was too small to play in the NFL. I'm like, what? That's
JPJ is an inch taller and 10 pounds heavier.
Yeah. So like, I think that's
It's a really pathetic attempt to try to get some screen time.
that's a fair point, and I can leave it at that. Yes, we got draft classes to go through. Let's see what we got.
Cool. Yeah, so big ones here. Let's go through the Steelers. Derek Harmon, defensive tackle out of Oregon, coming in there. Then we get to Caleb Johnson, Jack Sawyer. Actually, can I close this? There we go. Yahya Black, Will Howard, Carson Bruner, Dante Kent. I think we filled a ton of needs. Obviously, we didn't address tackle or guard, which is fine. I love our line at a starting place. The more it sits with me, the more I'm very happy with Jack Sawyer. And I guess I still don't understand Josh's like anger towards Will Howard in a way, but maybe that's just me.
I I didn't even think about this until kind of after the fact when I was reading through the class, but it made so much sense why they took Sawyer. One, because he was BPA, but two, if you remember last year when Highsmith was hurt and they had to move Watt around the
Yeah.
line to be able to like get advantage with him because like Herbig, like while we like him, just wasn't necessarily up to par yet with
Of
being
course.
able getting a full time role. That makes sense why they needed depth at outside linebacker because Preston Smith when they got him like wasn't necessarily like a world beater either.
Which
So
stunk. I had really high hopes for him, and I understand that he wasn't more than what he was. But that was
I did too, but like but now it makes sense. Like if you can find a good outside linebacker, or yes, and I'm gonna repeat this for Josh Elsas to say, Jack Sawyer is an outside linebacker. Just making that clear. If you can get more depth at areas that the talent is there, I think they are more than okay with filling them. Especially because like if you look at it, Watt's near the end of his career. Herbig is ascending a little bit. Highsmith they just gave a big deal to, but he might not be around longer. So like if it just becomes a revolving door at outside linebacker for them, I'm more than happy with them continuing that trend of just adding as much depth as possible to find the next potential guy and stuff. But
Yeah.
in terms of this class, I'm with you. I'm it's strange they didn't get at least a swing tackle for like being able to help if like injuries pop up and stuff like that. That's the only complaint I really have about this class. Other than that, like I liked Mike Tomlin's response about saying that like they wanted to get more physicality on the roster, just like what
Yeah.
they did with
Need
the
it.
second round pick to get DK. So based on that response and looking at the class as a whole, like I don't have any issues with how the Steelers handled this draft class, honestly.
Yeah, there's a couple other running backs we could have went in the second if we had it instead, but I think Caleb Johnson fits us perfectly. I think bringing in multiple guys from multiple systems, Will Howard and Jack Sawyer together, yeah, Black and Caleb Johnson will be good. Carson Bruner, I'm fine with. He's good athlete. I think that's a dart throw, and I think Dante Kent is a great special teams player if he doesn't play at corner for us. So I
Yeah, he ran
love
like
the
a
class.
4.3 or something during his pro day and stuff. So like
Yeah.
he's gonna keep up the speed. Like Bruner and Kent are gonna like make their name on special teams and stuff, which I will give credit to. Like the Steelers are very notorious for like giving guys chances on special teams and letting them sink or swim. So like I'm all for it, letting them earn the opportunity to play more.
Let's look at the Cardinals here. They took Walter Nolan and then Will Johnson, Jordan Birch, the end out of Oregon, Cody Simon, the Denzel Burke back to back Ohio State boys, Hayden Connor, and Kitten Crawford.
A lot of athletes on here. If Will Johnson's healthy, that's a steal for them.
Yeah, I guess I didn't understand how bad that knee injury was, but I still think this is a steal.
Well, also like he didn't run because of the injury, I
He
guess.
ran
So
it as
like,
pro day.
oh, did he?
Mhm.
Was it 4.3s or something, or was it like lower than expected? I guess if he fell this far, that's just my curiosity.
I want to say it was 4.4.
Yeah, but
Oh, okay. I
no,
guess he didn't run it. I thought he ran at the pro day, so I guess.
but everything else like this is a very like safe draft for the Cardinals compared to what we're used to. I think.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, like I think Nolan's got a lot of Nolan if he hits is going to be huge. I think he's going to take some time to adjust to the NFL, but I think he's a perfect fit for a 4-3 defense.
Agreed.
I like Jordan Birch and Simon were a bit high for me, but like I think they're just good like solid football
play.
players. Yeah, so they'll play. So like it feels like a safe class for the Cardinals, which is nice because it's not something that I think they're used to. So I got no issues with this one.
Yeah, my favorite pick on there is Burke. Ohio State kid, just sure. He'll be a cornerback 3, be very good. But I loved their class just for Will Johnson in the second. It's crazy. We
Yeah,
have
great value.
7. So looking at the Falcons, they I don't know if you've seen a ton from the internet here, Greg. They are getting drugged.
Really?
People think that their trade for 26 with James Pierce was terrible. And I don't think it's for doubt of who he can be. I think people are saying you shouldn't have taken Jalen Walker if you needed edge, but they come back up. I love it. I love Xavier Woods. I love Billy Bowman. Jack Nelson's a really good dart throw. I like this class a lot, considering that they have Michael Penix's contract to deal with.
Yeah, there's disagreement on whether or not like Walker's going to be an edge or an inside linebacker. I think he can probably do both. I think he fits on a 3-4 team at outside linebacker. But here's the thing too: Pierce coming into the year was a top 2 talent in this class. So if he hits and that talent is still there and stuff, you get a guy with top 2, top 3 talent at 26 and is by the way, I'm pretty sure most Falcon fans can agree, you've needed edge rush forever. So I don't understand like why people are upset about this. They took a chance on this and it's a small class, but yeah, based on the context of how they've built this team and they do have Penix on a rookie deal, this is going to be a very young team to follow for some time. But yeah, I don't hate them for taking a chance on this. I mean, do I wish they would have had more picks? Sure, but I mean, they got two guys that are probably going to be their best defensive players they've had since Vic Beasley on their front seven, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, actually, apologies to Grady Jarrett on that one. I spoke too soon.
Yeah, fair. They have Ruka Rower, who we liked last year in their DT. They have James Pierce as a wet side. They have Jalen Walker listed as a sub linebacker right now, which I think fits. This is a very cool team and a very fun team to be a fan of. Michael Penix, Bijan, Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Ray, which is fine. They have a couple guys deep in there that should work out well. Kyle Pitts, third tight end for some reason, is Felipe Franks, which is interesting. But you got AJ Terrell and Jesse Bates, Mike Hughes. It's a fun team. I think Kurt should be super excited by him.
Yeah, 9-8 probably team if everything hits right, I'd say.
Let's move to Baltimore here, who had 76 picks this year. Malachi Starks, Mike Green, Emory Jones Jr., Teddy Buchanan, Carson Vincent, Bilal Kone, Tyler Loop, the kicker, LeJonte Wester, Ennis Peebles, JJ Peebles, Robert Longerbaum, and Garrett Dillinger, the guard out of LSU at 7th.
I'm so mad.
Sucks.
I'm so mad. And you're saying it sucks because we hate it as Steelers fans because it's a good fucking
Jones
class.
was a reach. Buchanan's fine. But the problem is that I know Jones is going to hit now.
Because he's on a team that he doesn't have to play right away.
Yep.
And he can learn under a really good offensive line. They're so good at finding guys late and developing them. Like Dellinger, I think, is going to be probably an all-pro guard in a couple of seasons now.
Yeah.
Because of this, which is some bullshit.
Terrible. Peebles is great for Virginia Tech. And I would almost guarantee now that Tyler Loop is going to be the best kicker in the league.
Yeah. I've said this on the show. I love Malachi Starks, but I'm so fucking mad.
Him and Hamilton together.
This is the exact, and I use the Kyle Hamilton example so many times, and it's appropriate. He goes to the Ravens and gets to play with Kyle Hamilton. Pisses me off so much. So, fuck the Ravens. We hate this class because it's a really good class.
Yeah, it's infuriating. Strolling right along here, let's get to Buffalo. Did you see the radio call by Billy Beane into local radio?
I'm sorry, what? Wait, you mean Brandon Beane, like
Brandon
the
Beane.
GM? Okay.
So there was a local radio show that was having Brandon Beane on, and he was listening before the commercial break. So he gets the commercial break, calls on, and they're like, "Hey, how's it going?" He goes, "I don't know what you guys want." He goes, "Look, back in the day, you guys were complaining that we took Josh Allen over Josh Rosen. Now you're complaining that we didn't take enough offensive weapons to compete." He goes, "Do you know what team led the NFL in points, including the postseason? The Buffalo Bills." He said, "We have the best quarterback in the league. We scored more points than any other team in the entire NFL last year, and you guys just aren't happy." And he goes, "I know you guys just want to find a reason, like find an excuse to complain." He goes, "I get it. Your radio show, you need to do it. Totally get it." He said, "But we did exactly what we're supposed to do. And if you guys can't understand that or be happy about that, I don't know what to tell you." He was sick.
Good for him. Good for him. That's some balls to be able to do that. I love that. Okay. But I will say, like, I am slightly surprised they didn't add at least another playmaker on this one, but I get them, like, I'm being honest. Like, I am surprised they didn't take a playmaker, but, like, at the same time, though, like, they've been reloading that defense for a while, and I feel like all the picks that they got on defense are guys that are, like...
Just to call out for you, James Cook, Ray Davis, Ty Johnson, Darren Evans are running back. I like Ray Davis. I would have got someone else. Khalil Shakir, I think he's a very good, talented NFL player, but he's not a great receiver. Joshua Palmer, fine. Keon Coleman, bust. Then you get to Elijah Moore, Curtis Samuel, Laviska Shenault Jr. Then you get to KJ Hamler and a bunch of guys that I don't care about. You're looking at 4 backup wide receivers and 3 starters, all of which are at the same level of skill in my mind.
Yep.
Laviska Shenault, former first rounder. KJ Hamler, first, second rounder. Elijah Moore, second rounder. Curtis Samuel was a high pick. Cam Coleman, first round pick. Then you get into Dawson Knox, Dalton Kincaid. Like, I understand that they don't have a Malik Neighbors. They don't have a Jamar Chase. They don't even have, in my opinion, a George Pickens. They have what the Packers have, but better, in my opinion, which is a bunch of guys.
Yeah, but the thing is, too, they can work with a bunch of guys when you have a quarterback like Josh Allen.
Yes, they scored more points this year than they did with Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's interesting, like how you want to like build, you want to be able to like get like so many guys on a younger, cheaper deal when you have to like pay your quarterback and stuff. They were able to get guys in like same level and stuff, but they play up because of Josh Allen.
For sure. He's so good.
Which I feel like more teams don't
So good and so
take
hot.
advantage of that at all.
Let's get through this draft class and a couple more here. So Maxwell Harrison, TJ Sanders, Landon Jackson, Deion Walker, Jordan Hancock, Jackson Hayes, Dorian Strong, Chase Lunt, Creighton Palm. This, to me, I'll say it right now, this is probably one of my 3 favorite draft classes.
Really?
Because
Okay.
I love Harrison. We know that. I
Mhm.
also love Dorian Strong and Jordan Hancock. So you get Harrison because he's fast. He's an athletic freak in that sense. But you get 2 other guys who are starters on almost any other team. You look at the defensive tackle. They couldn't stop the run last year. You get DJ Sanders, who is an absolute hole plugger. You get Deion Walker, whose big knock is his motor. We both like the guy. You like him more than I do. That is a huge issue, is his motor there. For me, this class here, even with Landon Jackson feels like a Bill. Landon Jackson bulks up like 600 pounds at Arkansas. I am obsessed with this class because if you can't beat the Chiefs, beat the Ravens, beat the AFC teams that matter with this addition to your defense, which is already great, then you do need to trade everyone away.
No, and we touched on this like with the Bills this past year that it felt like a rebuild going into this year.
Yeah.
And they still made it to the AFC Championship game, which was very impressive. And they signed a lot of guys on their defense to big contracts. So they're kind of planning ahead for the next wave now. And what's great is none of these guys, I feel like, need to make a presence right away. I feel like most of the guys, especially their top 4 picks, have traits that we like.
Yeah.
But they're not guys that I think are going to impact right away. I think they need more seasoning to be able to like actually contribute to this team.
And I'm
but
just
the
going
team
to
is
show
so
our faces because I saw a picture from Kat of the screen where it is huge of the website and we're really tiny. I
got
want
it
it to be our
okay.
faces, so I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
going to call out the draft classes from now on. I've never
Got
seen
it,
that
got it.
angle
Okay,
before.
but no, I think the Bills did a very smart, even keel draft class. It didn't wow a lot of people, but I think the best draft classes are the ones where you can see the traits and have them develop, and not
Yeah.
necessarily need to rely on someone to hit right away.
Couldn't agree more, Greg. Let's go to the Bears. I don't know if I like it or not. Colson Loveland in the first, tight end out of Michigan. Luther Burden in the third, wide receiver out of Missouri. Ozzie Trapolo out of Boston College, the tackle. Shamar Turner, Texas A&M D2, who we like a lot. Ruben Hypolite out of Maryland. Za Frazier, the big corner, was a riser.
Yep.
Out of UTSA. Luke Newman out of Michigan State. And Kyle Monangai out of Rutgers. Here's how I word it. Burden, love them where they got him.
Mm-hmm.
Ozzie and Shamar, love where they got him.
Right.
Zaw, 5th round dart, love it. Kyle Monangai, he reminds me of Thomas Rawls.
Ooh, that's a name I haven't heard in a
He
while.
does not
Okay.
go out of bounds. Kyle Monangai wants to hit you as hard as he can, and he's 5'9", and he's angry.
I like
Now-
that. It's like the opposite of Tariq Cohen, where he was like shorter, but Cohen just wanted to make people miss. Like Monangai has no problem with contact, which I
So-
think is something the Bears have lacked for a while.
What made the Lions good? Sonic Knuckles.
Yep.
We have Swift. We have Roshan Johnson and Kyle Monangai. One of the two of them will be the thunder to Swift's lightning. I am a huge Kyle Monangai fan. I don't think he's good enough for us to sit here and be like, that's the guy, because Roshan Johnson is a much better talent. Don't be surprised if Monangai becomes important on that team.
Okay. So based on the praise that you just gave, what is it about the class that makes you like sketchy about not liking
I don't understand the Colston Loveland pick at all.
Okay, that's where it was.
Oh, it's 10th overall, Greg. And don't get me wrong, Colston Loveland led Michigan in receiving yards and I believe receptions. He is the prototypical tight end. We just did this with this exact team with Cole Kmet.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't make sense in hindsight because hear me out too. Like when the Bills drafted Dalton Kincaid, I think a lot of people were confused when that happened because they just gave Dawson Knox a contract extension. The difference is that Dalton Kincaid was an absolute weapon at Utah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And he fits in so well with him and Knox in Buffalo because they play off each other so well. The difference here is that Loveland and Kmet are kind of the same tight end.
Yeah.
So it doesn't quite make sense unless, far be it from me to think that Loveland was not utilized properly in his last season at Michigan, that maybe there's more athleticism than we give him credit for. That's the only way I can look at it. Because
I mean, yeah, he led the team in receptions and yards. He was a weapon for them. It just, if you look at, if you want someone different, Tyler Warren was right there. And that's where it's like, I don't know, with the Bears, man, I like Rome Odunze. I just think you could have got a receiver there and been just as happy.
Right. But also, in fairness, they loaded up on playmakers like I think Luther Burden is a very good NFL player, and I think he's going to.
They got lucky that he slipped because now you're looking at Rome Odunze, Luther Burden, DJ Moore.
Mm-hmm. That's very
crazy.
Good. That's a very good trio of receivers. If the Bears do
fell.
not make the playoffs this year, especially after they redid the offensive line and they brought Ben Johnson in, and Caleb Williams should at least have some sort of stability now, I will be very surprised at this case.
Agreed.
Yeah. So I would say I'd say it's a solid class. It's not a bad class. I just think it's like I think the Loveland pick really threw people off.
That was fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Bengals here. Shamar Stewart, Demetrius Knight Jr., Dylan Fairchild, Barrett Carter, Jalen Rivers, Taj Brooks. A very necessary class. My issue is no addressing DT, no addressing the secondary.
It's a very boring class.
Fair.
Kind of something the Bengals needed, though.
I think Fairchild and Rivers both hit, which sucks.
You have gone back and forth, I think, on your stance on Shamar Stewart.
Yeah.
I don't think he does well right away. But the good thing about him is that he fits the 4-3 system that they run. So at least he's on the right scheme to be able to at least like make something happen. But now it becomes okay. Can he be a one-on-one edge rusher to actually make plays happen with that athleticism and not get swallowed up by NFL tackles? If it does happen, it's probably not going to be till like second year before we see it. So we may see traits, but this was a very boring class. But I think it's something that was needed for the Bengals, though, honestly.
Shamar's an upside pick. Demetrius Knight and Barrett Carter are filling a need. Dylan Fairchild, Jalen Rivers are filling a need. Taj Brooks I like Taj Brooks out of Texas Tech. I think he's fine. I don't think he's better than Chase. So there's no concerns there for any dynasty, any fantasy thing. I think it is what it is. For me, the Bengals, they address the Trey situation, and if Trey signs for some reason, him and Shamar are going to be awesome together.
Right.
I just have a huge issue with nothing in the defensive tackle territory here.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm pretty sure they lost a few guys in free agency to be able to make up for that. So like I'm curious what their plan is there. But maybe the thought process is like they have so much athleticism in the linebacker, they have edge rushers now to be able to kind of help with that. That maybe DT isn't necessarily on their high priority list and stuff. But this also, I at least like that they got more depth at offensive line because as I think everyone can agree with is that offensive line has been a problem for them for a long time now.
As it stands right now, their middle linebacker on the depth chart goes Jermaine Pratt, Barrett Carter, Demetrius Knight Jr. So
Wow.
they do have Barrett Carter ahead of him, which is interesting.
What's interesting is like I'm pretty sure Jermaine Pratt's like on the chopping block, so like he might not be there. After
Oh no, I think he's gone. I think that's why they took both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Perkins.
Yeah. Which, by the way, did you
yeah,
skip
go.
Carolina?
I guess so. I don't know how that happened.
I don't know. I was like,
That's
because
what
I know
get
you're
for
going.
hiding the screen.
Yeah, because you were going in like team order and stuff, and I'm like, I don't remember you talking Carolina. So.
Oh, Greg, we had a whole conversation about that.
Oh, that's right. God, missed it completely.
Carolina Panthers again.
Yeah.
T-Mac, Nick Scorton, Princely, Unamalian, Trevor Etienne, Latham Ransom, Cam Jackson, Mitchell Evans, Jimmy Horn Jr. I believe that the Panthers have made every picks correctly since Bryce Young, CJ Stroud.
Really?
Like
Okay.
you can still. CJ Stroud is the better player right now as it stands. I think they're setting up Bryce Young correctly. I no longer think that the Panthers are some pathetic excuse of an organization. I think that they are a very real, very young team.
I love T-Mac going there because I think he fits perfectly with Xavier Legette in that offense.
Agreed.
I think he is going to definitely get some numbers in there with the
And
deep ball.
Thielen.
I think they do have Thielen. Yeah, that's right. I think Bryce Young showed something last year that I'm not going to give up on him. So I think that's
Agreed.
good. I wish they would have gotten some more depth at offensive line because that was a big problem for them last year. I think they got a lot of projects on defense because Scorton and Princely have traits that I think we like, but they don't necessarily have the. I don't think they have like that elite pass rusher capability in them yet. So it might take a minute to bring it out of them. I still think they have a good secondary to work with. So. This is a team
It depends which Scorton shows up. Is it Purdue Scorton or is it Texas A&M Scorton?
Okay.
Because Purdue Scorton, Greg, is a first-round pick.
But A&M Scorton, like with everyone else and maybe him playing out of position, is where shit hits the fan.
He's almost better off taking that year off. Not in a dickish way, just for what it is. But yeah, I would be confident saying Princely and Scorton will be their starting edge rushers soon. I love Trevor Etienne in here because you got Chuba, you got Rico. Jonathan Brooks, who's still there. Huge fan of Ransom. I think he's a great safety. They have Trevor Mowering, so he could play the strong safety next to him if necessary. It's respectfully, Jimmy Horn Jr. Super high upside. We'll see what happens there.
Very true. NFL bloodlines, man. There's something to be said there.
And they got Hunter Renfrow.
I forgot.
Did you see what actually happened with him?
With the Panthers? No.
No, with Hunter Renfrow.
Oh, no, I don't.
He had a disease where he lost like 70 pounds.
Fuck, really?
He had a 103 fever for 5 straight days.
Fuck, Renfrow was already like a tiny dude and stuff. After losing 70 pounds, my God.
Yeah, so apparently he had that something going on, some disease there. And so then because it didn't make sense to me that nobody wanted to take. It was called ulcerative colitis, which I know is a word that I've heard in commercials.
Same. Yes. That's the only way I know it. I know nothing else about it.
An autoimmune disease left the 29-year-old feeling lethargic as he battled high fever, significant weight loss. It kicked my butt pretty good. It made no sense that this guy was not a NFL wide receiver.
Yeah.
All he did was catch 10 balls a game for the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Greg, when I tell you that I kept looking at that list of free agent wide receivers and going, why would we not sign him? Like, we signed Ben Skoronski.
And gave him an extension.
Why the fuck would we not sign our friend, bro? So then you get into, okay, that makes so much more sense. I'm so happy. I'm so proud of him. I hope he's so good, dude. Hunter Renfrow is so fun.
He is. He would have had a very long career if he was healthy and stuff. And like, and he's in a good situation too. If he's at Carolina, like he'll probably get a lot of the easy catches over the middle and stuff that like they'll be able to make plays for him and all that. So good for him. If Bryce Young is able to take advantage of that mismatch in the middle, that's awesome for him.
Agreed. Let's go to the Browns here. They trade back, which it sucks because Jacksonville's not going to be good enough to not be a high pick, and they'll have another 2. Whatever.
Right.
Mason Graham. They get Carson Schlesinger in the second. Quinshaw Judkins, who I love, in the second. Harold Fannin Jr. in the third. Dylan Gabriel in the third. Dylan Sampson in the fourth. Shedeur Sanders in the fifth. I hate this class because it's a lot of names I like in positions where they won't thrive. For example, I don't think Harold Fannin is great
I
for this system.
I don't trust them being able to develop an athletic tight end
Yeah.
for the life of me. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he technically is tight end too there, but we'll see. I have faith. Uh, Dylan Sampson. Why?
Yeah. Well, they want to be a run heavy team, I imagine now, and
You
essentially,
got Jerome Ford, you got Pierre Strong. Let Dylan Sampson go somewhere else.
right. Yeah. But honestly, like if the idea is to eventually replace Jerome Ford and Pierre Strong, like Quinshon Junkins and Dylan Sampson are going to be a great 1-2 punch there. So
Agreed. I'm just pissed off.
yeah, I get it.
Which is probably a good thing for them. The other one that makes me mad in here is the Dylan Gabriel, Shador Sanders. Their QB depth chart: Deshaun Watson, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, Shador Sanders. Right now,
It's amazing. There's no way they're keeping 5 quarterbacks on their roster, right? There's no way.
a lot of people are saying that Dylan Gabriel might be the cut. You do not take a quarterback in the 3rd round with the idea to cut him.
I know. So that's where
I think Kenny goes because you don't. Yeah, I think Flacco's such a good veteran in this league.
I agree. He's such a good safety net that they can rely on and stuff that I find it hard to believe they're going to let him go. So
Well, and you want all of your guys to be Flacco.
absolutely. No, that's fair. And I mean, like, I think the ideal situation would be for them to get rid of Watson, but they're not going to cut that contract.
I'd almost
There's no way.
interested in the fact that why don't they just cut him and eat the cap? Because there's
I mean,
no difference, right?
I think there is after a couple seasons, but honestly, it makes more sense to cut it now that you think about it because the cap's going to go up over the next like few years easily. So
yeah.
So even if they cut him, like, yeah, it's a big cap hit, but it's not going to eat a ton of their space. And after that, I don't think there's many guys on the roster that are going to be due like big extensions or anything upcoming.
Yeah.
So I think realistically, like, it wouldn't hurt them to actually do it if they want to. But maybe it's like to save face to like ride out the contract because they gave it to
That's
them,
kind
which
of
is
where
dumb.
I'm thinking is it's a little more. And dude, don't get me wrong. Like, I think they're pieces of shit for signing a sexual predator,
Yeah.
knowing who he is. It is what it is. I think the Browns have caught enough shit for it, so we won't harp on that. Looking at their defense, though, Myles Garrett, Mason Graham now is a great duo. We'll see what happens with Joke. I love Jeremiah because of Kamara. We'll see what happens there. I do got to throw it out there, man. Schlesinger is an aggressive overdraft for me.
Yes.
And we like him.
Yeah, I like him too, but I was not expecting him to be a high 2nd-round pick. He's a like we like him because he's a tackling machine and all that, but I think that there was concerns about him being a one-hit wonder that I think rightly could have like scared some teams away. So that makes me surprised that he was taken so high, but at the same time, I think if you see the talent and also because I think there is a bit of a hole at linebacker for them. I'm not opposed to them taking him necessarily, but I don't know. I do feel I
Sure.
get what you're saying.
I mean,
about
he's
him being
technically a
reach.
starter right now on the thing.
Yeah, which is weird. Like I don't think he's a starter right now in the NFL.
Here's the issue. We liked him because he tackled a shit ton and he was a 3rd-round pick.
Exactly. He's a 3rd-round pick. But a high 2nd-round pick to the Browns where he's going to be a starter just does not work. It's weird.
Teach their own, though, man. I think it's a really good class for the Browns. I do have concerns over them not going any offensive line. DeJuan Jones at left tackle has been better than we expected for the height. Joe Batoni, Wyatt Teller, Ethan Pocic, they are as good as it gets. I like Luke Wildport from last year's class. And then Jack Conklin at right tackle. They have a great line. I just expect the Browns to always be good at the line, so I'm surprised they didn't do a dart throw. Let's go to the Cowboys. Tyler Booker, Donovan Izaraku, Savon Ravel, Jaden Blue, Shamar James out of Florida, Ajani Cornelius, Jay Taui, Phil Mafa, and Tommy Akingbasido. Adore it.
This is a very meat and potatoes class for the Cowboys, which is why I like it. I texted Davis like how mad I was that they got Savon Ravel because he's one of my favorite players in this class,
Agreed.
and I know he's gonna be good because I've seen the tape. I know how good he is, and it pisses me off he's gonna be a Cowboy. So All right, for that. Jaden Blue in the 4th is such a Jerry pick.
Yep.
He sees the speed. He knows that like if he hits, there's gonna be something there. But it feels kind of high for him because like
Sure.
everyone said he should have come back out, but he should have go back to college and stuff. But I like the fact that they addressed depth in key positions that they needed to. So this was a smart class for the Cowboys.
I was very surprised there was not a single receiver.
Yeah, because I'm curious if at 12, because I imagine that they probably really wanted T-Mac.
I think about that. Right now they have Jalen Tolbert, they have Kevontae Turpin, Jonathan Mingo, Paris Campbell, Kelvin Harmon from back in the day, Seth Williams is there. It just, you're not giving CeeDee Lamb his Jordan Addison, which sucks.
Yeah, and what's funny is too is like in the second round and stuff, like we touched on this, like this wasn't necessarily I don't think it was a bad receiver class. I think it was just like there were a lot of deep pieces here that you had to get right away.
Agreed, because here's what I'll say. Tyler Booker, instant starter. Donovan Zaraku, instant starter. Savannah Ravel, instant starter. Jaden Blue, they brought in Miles Sanders, and they brought in Javonte Williams.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's an instant starter, but I think he will be the starter. And so I'm not going to say look at any of those guys and go pick a wide receiver over them. Mm-hmm. This class, though, what we just found in our Dynasty chat, the amount of darts you can throw at the wide receiver position are kind of insane. I got Xavier Restrepo in the 7th round of our Dynasty rookie, or 5th round. We only got 5 rounds because he went undrafted. Like, there are some later guys who are really good. And so I don't think that the top end of the class needed to be replaced for the Cowboys. It just takes somebody. You're Jerry Jones.
No, but funny enough, though, it's usually the classes where he doesn't get flash that end up being pretty good for him.
Yeah, and it sucks.
Yeah, so it's like Jerry goes against his like instincts, and it works out well for him. Yeah. Is like a strange thing that ends up happening for him. So maybe this will be the thing that helps them make it to the playoffs again this year. I doubt it because I think they need more, but it's a good start for them, I'll say.
I'm going to read out the Broncos and then sprint to the restroom, Greg, so you can talk about it, and then we'll talk about it back. That is Jahdae Barron, R.J. Harry, Pat Bryant, Savion Williams, the edge out of LSU, Quay Robinson, the edge out of Bama, who was mocked to us multiple times, which is frustrating. I did like him, but I like Jack Sawyer. Jeremy Crenshaw, the punter out of Florida. And then Caleb Linaire, Utah, tight end. Give me 1 second.
Okay, so Broncos were fascinating in this sense because I think them getting Jahdae Barron at 20 was an area too that like we as the Steelers fans were probably looking for because he's a defensive weapon. He's not going to be like a press corner, I think, type of guy that we look for because he's so undersized, but he fits so many other areas that you want. He can be a box safety if you want. He can be essentially a free safety coming up the middle. He can be a nickel back if you want. He could be these other type of chess pieces that you want in a defense that I think could have a lot of fun capabilities on a Denver Broncos defense, by the way, that something about them, like they're a very no-name defense, but they were really good last year. They had so many guys that just, I think, overperformed on that roster that I would not be surprised in the slightest if this ends up being a situation where the Broncos just reload on defense every year with different guys, and somehow, based on the scheme, it just fits them perfectly. Oh! What up, Bean? So happy.
Someone called him cute today. He's very excited.
He likes the compliments, I could tell.
Yeah. Here's what I'll say about this class. It sucks that Patrick Surtain now has Jahdae Barron. It sucks that R.J. Harvey is going to be awesome. It sucks that Pat Bryant was compared to Michael Thomas. It sucks that they got both Savion Jones and Quay Robinson.
Yeah.
And it sucks that the Broncos are fucking back, dude. And what I mean by it sucks is just like, why can't this be us? Why can't we get Bo Nix and then draft this class and then do all this? Like, Bo Nix is set up. If Bo Nix fails, Greg, I can't express to you what a failure Sean Payton is as a coach.
I mean, I would argue that, so far in his rookie season, like he got them to the playoffs as a wild card team when no one expected them to be there. And I brought this up too. Like their defense, like aside from Surtain, is very no named. Like they have guys that just overperformed at every level, but based on the scheme,
it is a
it
bunch
just
of
works.
guys that no one can name.
Yes, but it works for them, and they are going to be very good. I'm surprised Harvey went as high as he did, but I'm also slightly. But thinking back, I'm also not because I feel like he has that speed element that I think Sean Payton desires
He's a
with
home
his
run
running
guy.
backs. So I think that's going to be a big element for them to work with. I still think their receivers are not that great, and I think Pat Bryant is kind of like.
So right now it's Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims Jr., Devon Vele, who had a good year. Then it goes to Troy Franklin, Pat Bryant, Trent Sherford Sr., and then my guy, A.T. Perry.
Oh my God. I forgot A.T. Perry was on the Broncos.
No, I agree with you. I think that I think Vele had a good end of the year. I think Mims is a good streaker. I think Cortland Sutton. We're probably seeing the end of Cortland Sutton's time there.
Yes, I would say so.
So.
That's why that's part of the reason I'm surprised they didn't go They didn't get another receiver and stuff because like Bryant doesn't really do anything for me. He's just a streaker, you know. Like,
I'm telling you that Sean Payton said Pat Bryant is Michael Thomas Jr.
All right, I can see it, and you're not wrong. Michael Thomas was also a streaker as well, but man, like
he ran 2 steps to the left and streaked to the left, or 2 steps up and then streaked to the left. Mr. Slant God, Dre called him.
Yes, exactly. That's how it worked. No, I look at the Broncos and I think they got a rookie QB that's going to keep them relevant for a while. And like this team, just like it has a bunch of guys that just know how to fit a role, but aren't gonna light the world on fire or excel. They're just a team that's just gonna work, and it's annoying. I'm with you.
We got one more, and then we're at the end of the arrow, and we're gonna skip that and just have a discussion about some other stuff, and we'll come back because guess what, Greg? There's really nothing football to talk about.
I know we can split up our draft class content stuff for the next few episodes, and I love it.
Can't do a mock. Let's hit the last one here. It is the Detroit Lions.
Which, by the way, I just want to say that PFN does have their simulator updated with next year's prospects already.
Greg, come on. We're adults. We don't need to.
Do we?
I don't think that we have people viewing it. My mom's using her last phone data. None of them care about the draft. We should. Jeremiah Smith, 101.
We'll look back on it like next year and be like, oh God, how wrong were we?
We're gonna finish the Lions draft class and then do a mock.
Oh my God.
Tyleek Williams, Tate Ratledge, Isaac Tesla, Miles Frazier, Ahmed Hassanin, Dan Jackson, John McLovin. I will be honest.
Go ahead. Break Behrman's heart.
I'm just not a fan of this class at all.
I don't understand the Tesla pick at all.
Tesla, they traded up 2/3 for him. Tesla is like 6'4" from Arkansas. He's a wide receiver. From everything I've heard, they like his blocking.
And they drafted him in the second round for it. If they liked his blocking, if they liked the receivers blocking so much, they should have just waited till the 5th round and drafted Torrey Horton.
Well, here's what I'll say. He's better than Tim Patrick at football.
Okay, I'll give you that.
But he's not amazing. Like I don't get it. I don't get going tackle there. I don't really get. I like Tate Ratledge and I like Miles Frazier. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
I just feel like you could have addressed secondary and given Taron Arnold and Brian Branch a little more. I know they just signed Kirby to a huge deal, but which is fine. I think linebackers is kind of hurt here. Jack Campbell's fine. He's not playing up to first round grade, which is fine.
Yeah. They just cut like Jalen Reeves, Graves Maben or whatever. So like they probably needed depth too. No, it
just feels weird.
Yeah, hear me out too. Like I don't want to kind of bury the Lions just yet, just because like I feel like.
It's the worst class we've talked about.
Yeah, it is, but what's also weird too is like we've said that about other classes, and somehow, some way, they get guys that just hit. So like I'm kind of.
Oh boy, shocker, ladies and gentlemen! Anything is possible, Greg.
Whatever. But I'm kind of with you that like this is just not a class that impresses me either. Like I said, the Tesla pick I thought was weird for a second round pick. I like Tyleik Williams. I don't think he's like
he was a fringe first that we both leaned to be later because of the depth in DT. I mean, Alfred Collins, Darius Alexander, Omar Norman Lott, they all went so late.
Yeah, like there are guys that were taken later that if you would have told me, I probably could have said, okay, there's traits about them that fit. Like Williams is just a guy that I think does everything good, but doesn't have that elite trait about him. I don't hate taking the offensive lineman because I do think that because the thing with the Lions is like the offensive line is their bread and butter. It's the
Ratledge is a starter.
Ratledge is a starter, but I'm going to say like the depth was important for them because I do think some of them are getting up there in age. So like it's kind of important to like kind of rebuild the stockpile and just be like, hey, anything bad happens, we're good, and our running game is going to be completely fine. So I kind of get that, but like it's a boring class. It's a really boring class.
Here's the other thing that I'll toss on top here. Tyleik Williams for run stopping.
Oh, great pick.
Top 3. Kenneth Grant, the number 1 run stopping DT in my mind. I think you could toss in Graham and Nolan for who they are, but if you were drafting someone to stop the run, Kenneth Grant was the pick, which is why I was so excited for the Steelers to get him. I do think Tyleik Williams he's better stopping the run than Omar Norman Lott, better than Sanders, better than a lot of these guys that can just tuck their ears back and rush. So if you're really like, hey, we need to stop the run, this is your guy. It's just so unsexy and didn't feel like a drastic need for them.
Yeah.
I guess that's why. I don't think it's a bad pick.
No, but I mean, like, would you say that, like, if we were going off of, like, a direct need, like, another edge with Aiden Hutchinson, especially because he's coming
I wanted them to go edge.
Okay. Or maybe, like, a linebacker here. Like if they drafted Jihad Campbell here, wow, I would have been
an unbelievable, their Super Bowl bound pick.
Yes. Oh God, I would have been so happy if they got Jihad Campbell here. Or even if they did want to go receiver here, and it would have been a guy that was like, not Tesla, but like another guy.
Nick
that was
Gordon and Donovan Ezeraku would have been sick here.
Mm-hmm. Or even like if Matthew Golden was like available, because Golden went at 23, I think. So like if he stayed a little longer, that would have been a great pick there or something. But yeah, like I'm with you. Like this class just doesn't. There's nothing about it that that is kind of like eye popping or anything like that. It feels like there were certain holes that they were looking at. Was like, hey, we could use a little extra here. Why not get it there? And it's like. And yeah, that's fine, but like, man, like especially for a first rounder, you would think there'd be some sort of like splash to go with it or something like that.
You'd think. All right, let's do this, Greg. We're gonna show out with a 2026. This is Deacon Greg's.
Oh, I can't believe we're doing this.
Here's what I'll say. I'm holding up both numbers for 1 or 2.
Okay.
Pick a hand.
Left.
Okay, you have the number 1 overall pick. I get the second, and we alternate.
All right.
It just is what it is. We both know Arch ain't coming out, but you're up.
Oh, give me Arch Manning, the quarterback, future quarterback, future great. He ain't coming out, but goddamn, he's on the board. So give me Arch Manning.
In my world for the Tennessee Titans, Cam Ward had a record-breaking year. They just lost every game. And so I'll go T.J. Parker, Clemson. Just so you know, Greg, there's probably 10 to 15 guys I know in this class outside of like I know guys, but they're really no. T.J.
Yeah.
Parker will be a name we call very early next year.
Yeah, we're gonna get more into this as the season goes on.
Dude,
Stuff.
yeah, it just started.
Yeah, like for me, for instance, like for the Saints at 3, I fucking love Caleb Downs.
Oh wow!
But I love Caleb Downs, but I cannot take him at 3 when the Saints are probably going to be scrambling for a quarterback in some way. So unfortunately, give me Drew Aller, the quarterback for Penn State.
May I? You're taking that pick.
Yeah, I am. Drew
May
Aller.
I tell you why you're wrong?
Go ahead, sir.
Have you heard of Garrett Nussmeier?
I have, the quarterback for LSU. Yes. Came on, it was his first start last season because he waited for a while at LSU. Yes.
Where is LSU located, Greg?
In Louisiana, sir. Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Where is New Orleans located?
In New Orleans, Louisiana, sir.
Who is, if you don't mind me asking, Garrett Nussmeier's father?
Someone with the last name Nussmeier, I guess.
And what does he do for work?
Nussmeier. Is he a coach for the... Is he an offensive coordinator?
For who?
Or something? I do not know, actually.
Oh. Because I'm pretty sure he's the offensive coordinator for the Saints.
Get the fuck out. Really?
Dude. Greg Nussmeier, who is the quarterback for LSU, who would have been a first-round pick, no question asked, this year's dad, is the offensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints.
That's unbelievable.
So as much as I'm sitting here telling you that I have Drew Aller higher, Drew Aller comes out, Greg, he might be the number 1 overall pick in this class.
Yeah.
The Saints and Nussmeier feel destined.
It feels destined. That's unbelievable.
So I don't want to tell you you're wrong. I just woo.
No, that's fair. And full disclosure, Nussmeier was a very good quarterback this year. He's got all of, like the measurables you want.
I'm so glad he went back.
And he's got a big
in another
arm as
world. I can't explain enough. Milroe goes back to college. Ewers goes back to college. I really think that's it. Those two. Because I think everyone else really, like McCord and those, like Howard and Riley Leonard, they needed to come out. Quinn Ewers goes back to college. Jalen Rose goes back to college. This is a different draft class. But at the end of the day. New York Giants, easy pick. Caden Proctor is the number 1 tackle in the class right now. I know nothing about these tackles. He goes to Alabama. Easy.
Okay. I'm up for the Jets. I'm still thinking that they're going to have Justin Fields, and he probably resurrects his career. So give me my boy Caleb Downs.
Yeah, Caleb Downs could go 1 overall.
I love this dude. Played at Bama, then played at Ohio State. Elite level secondary player. That he's a little undersized, but like he's got great instincts.
Yeah, he's a playmaker.
He's gonna be so good.
Let's just go with what the class has given me for the Panthers. I'll take Francis Mauigoa. Because I say it.
Yeah, probably OT1 right now. Yeah, so and just looking at how this just.
Well, I wouldn't say OT1 because I took tackle for the Giants.
Oh, that's right, you did. I'm sorry. Yeah,
oh, you're good. Caden Proctor. I don't know who the number 1 in the class is. I'm just.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm up for the Browns again.
Yeah, because I'm just God dang Jaguar.
Thanks a lot. You know, let's
take Nussmeier and get 2 quarters.
Yeah, I should. They took 2 quarterbacks already. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna add to that defense. Give me Anthony Hill Jr. Yeah, why not?
I do think the Anthony Richardson experiment's done, and I don't think Daniel Jones is their guy for the future, and this is where Nussmeier goes.
Okay, fair. I'll give you that. Vegas. Oh, I think Lenore Sellers is a great fit for the Raiders. So
really? I don't hate it, because Gino's just on a 2-year, right?
Yeah, he's on a 2-year. So I think Lenore Sellers, is the guy that's probably going to be the most likely that needs to sit a year to learn. I think he has I think he's a very athletic quarterback that is going to be a playmaker for them. for whoever drafts him. So I'm expecting him to go somewhere that needs a bridge, and I think the Raiders are a perfect spot there.
I really. I wish Ryan Williams was in this class, man, because he would have gone
One more year, man. One more
Let's
year.
just go Carnell Tate.
Okay.
Get the. I really, 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 genuinely can't explain enough how this should have been Jeremiah Love for me, but I like Trevion Henderson. I respect Trevion Henderson enough.
Okay.
That will go late.
By the way, just gonna point out here too, Ryan Williams might not be the number one receiver in his class.
Who's that?
The dude from Ohio State. Jeremiah.
No. Who else?
Who else? The dude from Ohio State. Jeremiah Smith, I think. The freshman receiver that like dominated the playoffs or something.
That's
what? Ohio State had a freshman receiver.
They have two receivers?
I thought they did. I swear they did. They had a freshman receiver in this class this past year.
Yeah, I thought that's who I was talking about. Who
are you talking about?
Let's see.
I thought it was Jeremiah something, unless I have the name wrong.
Jeremiah Smith. No, that's who I'm talking about.
Jeremiah Smith. Okay, yeah.
Jeremiah Smith is absolutely 100 trillion% who I was talking about.
Okay, yeah. So in 2 years.
I lied to your face.
Okay, so in 2 years, Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams are going to be the first receivers ever to be arguing who's the number one player in the class. That's going to be fascinating.
Well, I don't. He's Alabama's. That's what it was. Okay. I'm here now. I'm so sorry. I was combining them into one person. I think Ryan Williams is a better receiver.
Okay.
But I do believe
Jeremiah
in
Smith's
you.
the more. I think Jeremiah Smith is the most physical specimen. But I'm with you. Ryan Williams has like that elite playmaker capabilities, and I still say Ryan Wingo from Texas is another dark horse as well.
Ryan Williams has done things this year where I said he's the best receiver in college.
And that's scary with how the rest of these other guys were led up.
You're up for the Rams.
I'm taking the heir apparent to Matthew Stafford, Cade Klubnik. Nothing. I didn't necessarily think. I watched this guy live, by the way. I didn't think this guy was necessarily that great at first, and then he broke and then he broke Pitt's hearts on like a 72-yard run to set up a game-winning field goal with like 50 seconds left. Some bullshit. So like the dude's got wheels, and so I was not prepared.
He's great,
for it,
man.
But yeah, he's got shit. So
I think where he'll end up is like trying to think of like a confident. I think he's going to have a decent amount of upside. I don't think he's going to be this like 101 pick, but I think he's going to make a team very happy.
Yeah, I agree. So
Cardinals are tough. I'll just go Spencer Fennell, top tackle. There's a couple guys here I love from college, but just go safe.
Okay, so reading the board. Ooh, okay, yeah. So for the Seahawks, I'll go Ruben Bain here. Yeah,
Deal.
I think get some more edge guys for Seattle to help with that defense.
I'm glad he's listed as the top corner, so I'm going to go with him. Jermon McCoy. I'm curious how Tennessee goes without Nico. I can't stress enough that their offense won't miss a beat. They'll miss Dylan Sampson and Drew McCoy and the guy that went to the Raiders.
Deontay Thornton.
Deontay Thornton, thank you. They'll miss them more than they miss Nico.
By the way, did Drew McCoy get drafted?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nor did he sign anywhere yet.
His story is going to be like something to.
I hope he gets somewhere,
a long
man.
time. I hope he does too. I'm up for the Cowboys. This is where I'm taking Jeremiah Love.
He's so good, dude. He's
He's really good. He was so good for Notre Dame. I hope he dominates college football this year. I would be very happy to see a running back do that again.
Damn, this whole class of quarterbacks, and I'm set with these two, huh?
Who do you want? The guy who abandoned his team or the guy who cheated on his girlfriend when he got to Miami?
Neither.
Yeah.
It's not Eli Holston. I'm planting my flag, Greg.
Okay, go ahead.
It is May 1st, 2025. We just finished the draft. I believe
Okay.
Sam Levitt's going to have a great year.
You have been adamant about him before when we were talking about T-Mac. I have not watched a lot of tape on Levitt, so I don't know much about him.
Well, so it's to speak to it. Arizona versus Arizona State. With Levitt, with Arizona State, every time that I mention T-Mac, I go, well, we're talking about Arizona. I like this quarterback. For me, he's the Riley Leonard, Kyle McCord, Will Howard class of just guys who leaves it on the field in college football. The difference is he went back to school and he has a place that is building around him. And I do believe Arizona State has a team that's going to be – I think they can make the playoffs again. I think that they'll miss Scatabo, but I think it's going to show why they were there. I think they were there. Scatabo, proved that he was the reason they were there this year. I think Levitt next year is the reason they're there. I'm a big fan.
Okay.
Sorry,
And,
Will Howard.
you know what? Now that I think about it, I do remember watching the Wild Fiesta Bowl game and him having to make some really tough throws. So I can see why you love him now to get some love on that one. Okay, so I'm up for the Bears. Yeah, give me Isaiah World here. Add to the line for them, I'd say. There's a lot of these guys that I don't fully know yet, but I'm I'm excited to learn more about
some of these guys.
Yeah, we are, but I'm excited to learn more about these guys though.
Vikings, I'll take Nick Singleton to be very happy.
Oh,
I'm interested where these Penn State kids end up.
I'm surprised him and Kendrick Fulton didn't come out this year. Both.
I'm happy they didn't, but I'm with you.
Yeah, that Penn State team is going to be a very interesting offense to watch. Okay, so I'm up for the Broncos. Just kind of looking right there. Yeah, give me David Dennis Sutton. Add to their pass rush a bit more.
Don't hate that at all.
No.
Let's see what the Bucks need here.
It is such us, by the way, to do a mock draft for next year when we are 12 months away from the next one.
I mean, it tracks, man. It fits.
It does track. You're right.
I mean, it's tough. I just can't. 9 at 20. I'm taking Peter Woods. I understand. I love Vita Vea. I love what the Bucks have. Get some names.
Yeah. I'm up for the Texans. Ooh, I forgot he went back to school. Yeah, give me LT Overton.
Yeah, I'm just.
Yeah, he had a rough year last year, but he's got the pass rush traits that I think if he
he's so good, dude.
If he leans up a little bit, I think he could shoot up draft boards.
I feel like I have such a bias against Clemson guys anymore. Nah, just do it. I'm gonna go with the corner out of Clemson, Avion Terrell.
Oh, dude! Oh, I've seen Terrell play before. Dude's got some.
Oh, 100%. I just feel like Clemson, since they don't embrace NIL's fallen off, and I'm mad at their players about it for no reason.
For the Packers, I'm gonna go Caleb Banks here.
Rams already took Cade. Oh, that was who the Falcons traded with. People are saying that the Rams fleeced them.
They got a fuck ton of picks next year too.
They do. Let's go Keldrick Polk out of Auburn.
Okay. I hope Keaton's not watching. I'm expecting.
Very interested now.
I'm putting this out in the universe that the Bengals are gonna have a bad year even with paying everyone, and Joe Burrow demands a trade. So give me Nico.
Wow. Give me Laliva. I hate that as a Jamar Chase dynasty owner.
Yeah.
Because I love Joe Burrow, but
I'm more than likely wrong, but we'll see.
Yeah, why rush it? I'm gonna go with, dude. I don't know why he's this low. The other one, Katron Allen.
Yep. Dude, both Penn State running backs, man. They got something with them. All right. By the way, Niners projected at 27
I know,
overall.
I love it.
They're really expecting them to like have a bounce back year. I'm not ready to say
They're
that
much
just
better
yet.
than their draft stock right now.
I agree. This might be one of the first Georgia guys we've taken. Give me Christian Miller.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll go. Malik Muhammad.
That was a name that I've seen for a while. That would be a good fit there. Oh my God, I forgot he had a brother. Give me Montai Uiagalelele. Yep. For the Lions.
The only one that's getting drafted.
The only one just getting drafted. Jesus.
I'm just trying to see if there's names I know. Any kickers? No. I'll go.
They just drafted one, man. They just drafted one.
No, I'm just thinking of guys Derek knows. Yeah, why not? David Bailey, Stanford. Give him some edge there.
Okay.
Last pick for you, Greg, and then I'm up in closing.
Kansas City Chiefs. Give me Sumarine Perkins from Vandy. Why not?
Where?
Oh wait, did I misread that? I thought he was from Vandy. Like he was the second guy on the list.
Oh, Mississippi.
Oh, Mississippi. Damn it.
Yeah, just a completely
I can't
different
read
word.
with like the low text. Oh well.
And then the Eagles are up. I don't know any of you guys.
Yet.
They drafted Carson Beck.
Leave it to us. Leave it to us to find a way to do a mock draft after we just did mock drafts forever.
Yeah,
I love it.
It makes sense. All right, we'll see you guys next week live here on Facebook, on YouTube. You can catch us on Spotify all the time. Also, Riverside's app, and no one really uses that for it. So, good to be back. Good to be heard. Two of me. I can't wait to take these fucking headphones off.
Two of me is way too much of you, man. Just saying.
Yeah, I know. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to Two Beers Deep. See you guys next week.
Bye, guys.